Here we are, brothers, with another CLC podcast, episode 2. Today on the show, we have Chris Riley.
I figure I need to talk about some dude's nipples on each episode, and then that will fulfill my quota.
Blake Pobst.
Oh, I don't want to be like a cattle runner. I want to be like a fucking outlaw. I'm shooting people, man. I'm robbing banks.
And special guest, Alex Insdorf.
I like dicks in my mouth. I like dicks in my mouth. I like dicks in my mouth. I like dicks in my mouth.
And of course, brothers, I am Bane Bredgers. Tony Calvin was going to appear, but he couldn't make it. So we brought in a secret guest. Our special intro music is Drums by Chris Cowart. Enjoy.
Welcome, everyone, to the Lost Context podcast. I'm Chris Riley. I'm here with Brian Bridges.
It's a me!
Blake Pobst.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Alex Insdorf.
Hey.
Sorry about mispronouncing your name. Let me try that again. Alex Insdorf.
Good job.
All right. And then later we'll have Tony Calvin coming in. Oh, almost forgot. We have our secret special guest.
Who is it?
Warren Maxwell, everybody.
Wow, that's a great guess.
Hey, Warren.
He just put up a GIF. It's the Truman Show, Jim Carrey, saying, "Good morning, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night."
Laugh react. Hey, Warren.
Oh, good job, Warren.
Warren, what have you been up to?
He just put the GIF of the guy that walks up to the computer and puts the lotion on his hand and undoes his pants.
I mean, hey, we all do it.
I'm doing it right now.
Now he's doing Obama saying, "I'm happy to be here."
We're happy to have you, Warren. How come you couldn't have, given me a sec to prep myself? I didn't know you were going to do introductions. I would have tried to come up with something clever.
Wild card, bitch.
Comedians always got to be ready.
What do you mean? Making fun of Mario isn't clever anymore?
I didn't even know it was Mario until I said it, and I was like, this could go into Mario. That's what I did last week, too.
You didn't even say it's a me and then your name. You just said, it's a me. Silence.
Warren, can you post a fail GIF?
Oh, it's a building falling down.
That's the Chris Christie GIF. Speaking of Chris Christie, Gregway.
Craigway?
Let's...
You say legway?
What is a Craigway?
You never listened to the Game Over Greggy show?
Oh, that would be why. No, I haven't. I've never listened to anything kind of funny.
Didn't you say you came in when Colin left Kind of Funny?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I started listening
Okay,
to them, I only knew of Colin 2, maybe 3 months before he left Kind of Funny.
What were you saying about Chris Christie?
That he breaks buildings.
Oh.
Chris Christie did 9/11.
The connection is, he said Chris Christie, and I said Chris Christie, I happened to glance over at my list for last week, and it's the very first thing on the list. Starting last Tuesday, we had Chris Christie memes.
Oh, because he left office.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Poor soul. What's he going to do with his life now?
I wonder if there's a Chris Christie Creams
Fucking
joke.
die. Have a heart attack and fucking die. Shit.
How's he going to get his private beach if he can't close it down?
Not my problem.
I'm sure he'll wash up on one sooner or later.
Fucking beluga whale.
Also on Tuesday, this was a little scandalous. This was more scandalous than anything Chris Christie's ever done. Dennis was going to do, give me 2,000 comments, and I'll do a no-nut for 2018. The whole year he was going to not do his deal.
Do his deal.
Then
He's not going to masturbate his penis.
Yeah, he wasn't going to come for a year.
How come I'm not allowed to say the N-word, but you guys can get all graphic about that stuff?
There's a big difference between cum and the N-word.
None of us can say the fucking N-words.
Oh, man.
What did it get up to? It was like 1.2 thousand or 1.3 thousand.
It was like 1.1, I think, and then
then
thread got reported on Facebook.
Mysteriously,
no one quite knows the
I think
what
Dennis
happened.
deleted it.
Possibly, or what Dennis reported himself.
no.
You
ever
don't
think about
so?
that? You ever think about that shit?
I don't know. Maybe it
I
was
don't.
just
You're getting into Chris
maybe
Coward.
Facebook's just looking out for his health. Because I mean, like, not nutting for a whole entire year is more dangerous than eating a Tide Pod.
You know how many Bobs and Vagines get posted in our group? He wouldn't be able to last that long.
Eventually, he would just nut while flaccid and walk into the mall.
A bunch of libtards were getting owned or destroyed by various people, mostly Tara, with her silly memes. And then came Wednesday, and we opened up our group. We went from secret to closed, and we started inviting CLS people from Colin's Last Stand. Copyright, trademark, don't sue us. And we got a few people coming in.
Yeah, I think he's gained like 10 or 11 members this week.
Like maybe half of them were bots or something, but
For like
that's all
6
right.
or 7 months, our growth rate was at 0 or negative when people left. Our growth rate actually, at one point, it was minus 3% growth rate because 3 people left 1 week.
That was also Fashion Day, and that's when we had the fashion shows, and all the women folks started arguing with Eric about shoes.
Which was weird. Eric knows a little too much about high heels.
It was super weird.
Yeah.
It was kind of a cool theme, though, because the Photoshop was on point that day.
The Photoshops were very on.
Lots of people ended up in dresses.
The plus-size Pippi Dipperson, I think, won the day. That was fucking awesome.
Can we talk about Pippi real quick?
For a year,
Sure.
I've been trying to figure out if that guy is real or not.
Yeah.
Ever
I
since
think
the
he's
CLS group opened. Because he's been there since the beginning, or close to it.
He's like the original fake account. What I want to know the most is that him?
If he really looks like that, that is amazing.
Hey, somebody looks like
it
that.
isn't him.
You don't think so? Have you reverse Google searched his image?
I have to look it up. I feel like, if I remember correctly, it's the guy from that fucking Adult Swim sketch.
Oh.
Too Many Cooks? Was that it? There's
I don't
a
know.
character
know.
in
I don't
there.
really watch Adult Swim very much.
I don't know. But something like that. I think that's where that photo is from. I may be wrong on that. Yeah, it is. It is.
That's kind of disappointing, to be honest.
Yeah, you shouldn't have told us that, Alex. Get off our
Yeah.
podcast.
I really wanted that. I really wanted it to be him.
Just exposed Pippi Dipperson.
We really need to
Mystery
guilt
out of
him.
it, yeah.
We need to guilt him into posting a real picture of himself. That's gonna be my goal this week.
He's lying to us.
Alright, so maybe the picture's fake. Let's at least hold on to the name being real.
His name is definitely not Pippi Dipperson.
Please don't take that away from me, Alex. Please don't.
I'm not taking it away from you because
Alex.
you've never had it. Pippi Dipperson cannot be anyone's real, legitimate, biological name. Like that's just not fucking possible, man.
There used to be a famous NASCAR driver named Dick Trickle. I mean, if there can be a Dick Trickle, there can be a Pippi Dipperson.
Hey,
The Mariners had Randy Johnson. Horny penis,
Yeah, that's true.
known for his fastballs.
wait, does Randy mean horny?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that. I've never heard that before.
Oh, you're from the South.
Football has always had, like, some crazy fucking names. Dick Buttkiss? I mean, come on.
Icky Woods.
Hey, there's a singer named Dick Cheese.
His name is Richard Cheese to you.
Okay, yeah, no, it's Dick Cheese.
Throughout Wednesday and then into Thursday, Dennis's thing really took off, and the whole scandal erupted into him killing James Comey and Robert Mueller, and there was a lot of conspiracy theories going wild. So people started saying that he needed to be impeached from his admin status, and he was under federal investigation.
He's still under federal investigation.
Oh, really?
It didn't just stop, dude.
Who's investigating him? All the madmins are banned.
Me. I'm investigating his ass. I'm gonna prove the conspiracy. That conspiracy.
Gay!
It fucking happened.
I want to believe that Warren just posted a hot gay thing right there.
Well, I haven't heard from Warren just yet, but I can tell you that Alex is definitely deep-throating Dennis on this issue.
What do you mean I'm
Gross.
deep-throating Dennis on this issue?
Oh, I forgot you were too young to know what Watergate is.
Oh, no, okay. I know who Deep Throat is, but like I thought you were talking that I was actually deep throating Dennis. Because like when you say deep throat, the first thing that I think of is not like the fucking thing from the Watergate. It's the thing people do to each other.
Yeah.
So last week we talked about live videos trending. It hasn't stopped. On Thursday, Jalen started a question video series with his background music. That wasn't on Thursday, but that was his third video in the series. Have any of you seen any of those?
Well, before we move to that, Warren just posted a GIF of a pizza with sunglasses deep-throating a banana.
Is that a real gift?
Yes, it is. I believe the pizza is from Uncle Grandpa.
Warren, this is your finest hour.
Glasses, deep-throating banana.
So what was the new topic before Warren interrupted us?
In case you happen to have wandered into our weird realm and you're not a part of the group, Warren only posts GIFs. He never comments or talks to anybody. He just goes through everybody's posts and just posts GIF reacts. Nobody understands. Nobody knows why.
Hey, at least the GIFs tend to they at least say something towards what was said. They're not just random.
Sometimes it feels like they are.
He just posted Urkel going, "Did I do that?"
So I just looked up the whole pizza with glasses, deep-throating bananas thing on Google Images. Gonna be honest, not what I expected. A number of women deep-throating various objects, and you scroll down and you eventually find the pizza deep-throating the banana, but it's not till like way down.
You gotta see a lot of dicks first.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, the internet. So what it was is Jalen started this question video series where he's asking deep questions about our Canadians people. That's there was one I think about Alex. Has he been getting laid or something like that? Did you see that one, Alex?
Yeah, I saw that one.
Okay. I don't remember the third one, but
Well.
What do you mean, well? What do you mean, well?
You're the reporter. You're supposed to report on these things.
Listen, I am not reporting. How can I report on myself? Wouldn't that be like biased reporting or something like that?
It's what the country needs right now.
Hey, I'll speak for both
Today-
of us when I say, yeah, Alex has been getting laid.
Today you reported that you can't climb a pole.
Well, yeah, I can't. The thing with the pole is that it's too slippery, and I started working out like 2 weeks ago, and so I still need to build the core muscle strength to be able to climb the pole. So I'm hoping that when the Super Bowl is in 2 weeks, I'm hoping that if the Eagles win, then by then I might have a little bit more core strength to actually be able to like climb it.
I knew the second I saw the pole you wouldn't be able to do it because I used to do that stuff when I was a kid, and it was always a challenge. I thought, nah, it's not going to happen.
I probably can't do it either.
It wasn't even a round pole. It was a square pole, which makes it even harder.
Yeah, that's a
I
challenge.
think that would make it easier.
Okay, you go post a video of you doing it.
Well, we don't have square poles in Georgia.
Oh, you don't have Super Bowl in Georgia? Because it's so convenient so you can get your way out of this one? Fuck you, Blake.
You find me a square pole in Georgia and I will climb that motherfucker.
Another trending live series has been by Sergio. Have any of you tried to avoid those?
Yeah, I've avoided them at all costs.
I don't think I've seen them. I think I saw like the images and memes that came of them, but I haven't actually seen the original.
He's like reading hentai or something.
No, so Trevin, Sergio's been reading Harry Potter fan fiction by an author who is apparently notoriously bad, and like she doesn't even type properly. She uses symbols and letters and abbreviations and stuff in her writing.
Oh Jesus.
And there's lots of like other things incorporated, like people listening to, who knows, Nirvana and just like real life stuff mixed in with this, and other people from other series and worlds, and it's just nonsense.
How does he find this? How does he find this?
I don't know. And he usually gets high and drunk while he's doing it. So on episode 2 or 3, I think he polished off a bottle of Jameson's or Jack Daniels or something. It's all right. It's Sergio. So let's see. The podcast was put up on streaming download sites for audio, so we can promote ourselves. Where can we be found, Blake?
So far only on iTunes, as far as I know. I'll check the email, which it was weird. We didn't get an email from iTunes saying, "Hey, you're on iTunes." So I don't know if we're going to get one from Spotify or not, but those are the only two we've applied for, because there's something wrong with the RSS feed in Google Play or App Store or whatever. So I'm not real sure what's going on there. But
most of the people who'd be listening would probably already know, but we've got this podcast going. Blake started a gaming podcast with 3 other dudes,
yes.
And that can be found on our YouTube channel at the moment, our Lost Context YouTube channel. And then we got another one with Blake just doing like weekly news updates in the rap community or hip-hop community, right?
Yeah, so far we got one episode of that. It says right here we're not on Spotify yet, or at least I can't search for it. So as of right now, we're only on Podbean, YouTube, and iTunes.
So Friday was fun because we did Britney Spears memes.
That was a fun day. It didn't really trigger Tara as much as I thought it would.
I think it triggered her.
She kind of liked it.
Didn't show it. I think she's too big to show it.
She was going to take a break that day, but it was for other reasons, and then she ended up not, and she just kind of joined in with us, and it was just a Britney Spears day, which was weird. Everybody was posting, like, what were they? They were, it evolved into posting, like, all their other favorite musicians and stuff, and jokes about them.
Not really favorite musicians, just like hottest female musicians is what it turned into.
Well, it was like, it was like pop stars of the 90s or something.
Yeah.
And then it
all the ones that were better than Britney, which was pretty much most of them.
So them's fighting words. Maybe Tara will listen to this podcast and decide to fight.
She won't. I can guarantee she won't. In fact, she just popped up a message, so I'm going to close my thing because it recorded it on the podcast. So Saturday was the big day, because Saturday, Cody got fed up with us joke muting people and really muting people, and he banned all the admins except for himself.
Well, he just took our powers away.
And then Cody got zooked from Facebook.
Immediately.
So we didn't have anybody in power. There was nobody in charge. Nobody could be invited or welcomed into the group because Cody was banned for 3 days.
Yeah, I think he said he has like 3 powers. He can only do a few things. He can't do all the admin stuff, but he can still accept people into the group and a couple other things. Because he accepted his alt account.
And nobody believed us because we've done so many jokes in the past that they thought we were trolling the group again.
I don't blame him, but this time it's honest. We're being honest here.
Yeah. We trolled ourselves. So if anybody remembers, on the last episode, I invited Chris. Maybe it was on the first episode. And that was the last one, I think. I invited Chris to go eat pizza with me someday because I said there was this pizza joint that was crazy on the grease and the stacking stuff up with meat and everything. But then on Saturday, my invitation was revoked because Chico's Pizza caught on fire.
Holy shit. Hey, was it a grease fire?
Everything Brian loves burns to the ground.
I'm cursed. It was in one of their ovens. It started in one of their ovens.
That's what you get.
And we heard about it. My mom and I were at my sister's house in Richland. We heard about it, saw the pictures on Facebook. We drove home. It took about an hour and a half, and we didn't leave for half an hour. So it was like 2 hours. We drove by Chico's Pizza when we got home, and they were still spraying water on this building. So it was a doozy of a fire.
Well, yeah, if you throw water on grease, it just splashes, and fire gets everywhere.
Well, it was bad. It's toast.
That's all right. One night, about 5 years ago, I was living in Missouri. I was going to White Castle like 3 in the morning to get some White Castle.
Was that a zipper this time?
Yeah. I swear it was my jacket, my hoodie.
Just every episode is going to be some random, like, awkward soundbite in the background.
I just really like White Castle, okay?
Yeah, I went to White Castle. I got about halfway there, and I started noticing the sky was kind of bright. And when I got to White Castle, the motherfucker was on fire. I couldn't get my White Castle burgers. So I went across the street to McDonald's and watched it burn down.
That's cool, I guess, but I was kind of hoping for aliens.
No, unfortunately, it was not aliens. Not this time.
I figure anytime the sky is bright in the southern towns, it's got to be aliens.
Yeah, I guess Missouri is south. It's pretty south in Missouri, too. So.
Well, we already talked about aliens last week.
Yes.
Sunday was boring.
Everybody was at church.
Jalen tried to accuse me of being gay, and I kind of tried to turn the tables on him and started calling him Galen, but nothing really happened in the group.
I mean, we've all known you're gay for a while now.
Apparently.
Oh, Brian, he's always the last to know.
That's what those dicks were doing in my ass. I didn't know it was because I was gay.
Anyway, that's our weekend roundup. Unless you guys think of something else.
Well, one thing I guess I could mention, since you were talking about that place that burned down. It's not about, like, a place burning down or anything, but you may notice that I ate a bag of Tim's of the Cascade, or whatever they're called, chips today. And
I did. Where did you get those?
Yeah, I was in Washington today.
You bastard!
I was in your backyard and I didn't even tell you. Yep, I like drove down to Pasco and delivered some.
Holy
shit
smokes!
There. Yep, and then I picked up some
20
rolls
minutes
of paper, and then I left Washington without telling you.
You could have driven 20 minutes and looked at my burned down house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You could have gone and taken a piss on it and taken pictures.
Pasco and Kennewick and Richland are all smashed together, so they call it the Tri-Cities, and yeah, it's 20 minutes from like one end to the other, so I was in Richland when the house burned down.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. So tell me about the chips. You said you liked them. You said they didn't smell good.
No, like when I first opened that bag, like, whew, that was a strong smell there, and it smelled like literally if you had just cracked open a jalapeno and put it right under my nose, what that smelled like, except a little bit dustier. And like so, at that point, I was like, oh, I think I'm making a mistake here, and I figured that they were going to be hot as fuck, but I took the chip, put it in my mouth. It was the best freaking jalapeno chip I've ever had.
Nice.
Like, it was definitely spicy, but without, like, it wasn't enough to make you tear up. It wasn't enough to make you want to spit it out or anything. It was the perfect amount of spice, and, like, the amount of actual jalapeno flavor was amazing on that thing.
Yeah, I concur. I sent a bag of those and some of their other flavors to Tim Demuse, and I never got his thoughts about those. I'm gonna have to ask him what he thought. But if like I don't have a ton of money right now, but every once in a while I come into money. So if anybody wants to try them out, I'd be happy to like mail them a gift package.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know. I can look around to see what because I know you like beer. What breweries we have around here? I'm not real sure because I don't drink beer myself, but we could figure something
Yeah.
out, do an exchange.
It's fun. It's cool to get packages. Not those kinds of packages, guys.
So he comes into money and then he gets a bunch of packages.
Oh, he comes into money?
Yeah.
Rubs it together and a package appears.
Yeah. So, like, the last time I was home, I actually tried a couple new beers. There's a local brewery called Shorts that's, they're out of Bel Air, like, just maybe about 2 hours away from where I live. And it was a sampler pack of different Pilsners that they had. And one of them, well, they had this pineapple Pilsner, which it had a great, like, initial taste, but the aftertaste was god-awful. And then they had this one, it was a spruce Pilsner, or a spruce lager, one of those two. It was fucking disgusting. Like, it was like if you, I don't know, alright, so I saw, obviously the Tide Pods have become a meme, and there have been memes that have been offshoots of that. So I see one the other day that was, people are over here, eating Tide Pods when they don't know they could be drinking Pine Sol on the rocks. And so it was a bottle of Pine Sol and then like a cognac glass with ice in it, and then they poured the Pine Sol in there. And this fucking spruce beer tasted like if you drank that. It was so disgusting.
The worst beer I've ever had was from Sierra Nevada, and it was grapefruit cactus.
I've had that one. It is awful.
Yeah, it's not good. For some reason, I haven't heard a lot from you, Tony. I've heard more from Warren Maxwell than I've heard from you. I don't know where you've been. You're not really chiming on the conversation. Tony?
Is he here?
No.
Well, you said Tony, like you were trying to get his attention. The tone confused me.
I thought about doing a bit, and then I didn't know where to go with it.
Okay. Well, I was just confused.
So I just let it die miserably on the floor.
Well, Warren just posted a gif of a sort of angry-looking Asian man dressed as a banana eating a banana. So he's kind of on a banana kick tonight.
Nobody knows where Tony Calvin is. He was going to be 20 minutes late, and then 40 minutes went by, and he won't respond to my messages, and I think he's dead.
I think he's angry at us. He hates us. I knew he hated us.
Blake says that's what happens when you're trying to schedule with a drug dealer.
That's not what that's pretty, yeah, I said that, yep.
Yeah, and then Alex said he was on Color People's time, and so we all kind of got weird after that.
I did not say that in any capacity. You are putting
You're right.
words in
You
my
didn't
mouth.
say that. You said the N-word.
I would never say the N-word in any capacity, and I take serious offense to this.
Alex said, bear with me, guys. I need to say the N-word just as much as I possibly can before we start recording so it doesn't accidentally slip out later.
He also said he likes dicks in his mouth, so Alex has said a lot of things.
Do you have the audio of me saying that
That you what, Alex?
Never mind.
I like dicks in my mouth. 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 Oh, we forgot the most important item of the week.
What was it?
The masterful Blake Popes got unbanned from Facebook.
Oh my
God.
Yeah! For the 5th time.
The next time it's going to be a year ban.
So we got to do the church thing where I say he is risen and you all have to say he is risen indeed. He is risen!
He is risen indeed.
Oh, you guys are really bad at church.
I don't go to church. I'm a fucking Jew.
So Alex doesn't know anything about...
They're so bad at church they killed Jesus.
I thought that's what you did at church.
Alex can get with the part where Blake gets banned, but he doesn't believe in the part where Blake rises again.
I don't know anything about that Jesus shit. Like, wasn't there... I don't know. Did like Jesus do something? Was he a person?
He was just a magician who was took way too seriously.
All right, makes sense. I heard he can ball pretty well.
Yeah, Jews are cool with the Bible, at least down to the point where they, cut the tips of their dick off. But then after that, it's just too much. Like, they have to draw the line somewhere.
Hey, you gotta...
Not Ramin. Ramin doesn't have a line. That's my joke.
Oh, okay. Thought you were going to say he doesn't have a tip of his dick.
Probably doesn't have a dick either.
You gotta watch what you say about him. He's gonna be an admin pretty soon when Cody gets his powers back.
Yeah, I don't...
Andy's got 1,000,000 guns.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Oh, come at me. Those guns don't even work in New Jersey. We're on a different wavelength. Don't even work.
Let's jump into topics and let's start with Alex. What you got for us?
So, this is the thing. I don't really have a topic.
Oh god damn it!
How about
Get the fuck outta
one
here.
of you start? Can one of you start, and then you'll circle back to me because I have no idea what I want to talk about.
Yeah. You want to start, Brian, or?
If I have no topic with this podcast, as in no podcast will make me want to talk or upset me, does that make me white? I don't know where I was going with that. Okay, I don't have a topic either, so Chris, you gotta start.
Are you trying to make a I have no line joke?
I was really trying.
Those work.
Man,
Those
you
jokes
fell
are
hard, man. Oh, look, Warren put up another fail meme for Brian.
I don't have enough processing power to do that on the fly.
I don't know what this meme is, but he just put one of, Alex would probably know. It looks like a guy that's involved in sports. The guy looks very angry, and it's zooming up on his face. He's probably some sort of coach. And he just looks very underwhelmed with his team, I would guess.
Okay.
But no, if you have a topic, Brian, do you want to go over it first, or?
Oh no, I want Chris to go first.
Okay.
All right. Well, so looking for a topic today, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna look up some weird news. What kind of weird news has happened in the country today? And so I look up some of the things that pop up are Huffington Post. I go and peruse through there for about a half hour.
Are you just doing this right now as you go?
No, I'm going somewhere with this, trust me. And so, all right, Huffington Post is a dud. Next thing that pops up, NPR, weird news. It was all normal news. Nothing was weird there. It was just, Trump is our president. The news has got to be really fucking weird at this point to make it on the weird news page, And so, I look through a couple other American websites, nothing. So then I find the UK's Guardian. And boy, howdy.
Oh, yeah,
Here's
they have
the
some weird
story
stuff.
I found.
Man baffled that every home doesn't have a poop knife.
What is a
I need
food
further
knife?
details on.
So I'll read. I was laughing a bit, so I'll try to read it again with a straight face. Man baffled that every home doesn't have a poop knife. All right, and so I start reading this thing, and it starts off with a quote. I thought it was standard kit, plumber or plunger, toilet brush, and a poop knife. And so the story goes that this guy, he goes to a friend's house that he's known for a very long time, has been over there, used their bathroom tons of times, until one time he takes an overly large shit, and then, just like normal, like he would do at his house, he goes to, find the poop knife.
To cut it in half so it can be flushed down properly.
God.
Only this house.
Does not have a poop knife, and so he gets himself cleaned up, and the turd is still sitting in the toilet because he wants to, needs to fix it. He doesn't want to leave it there, so he goes and finds the friend, and he's like, where's the poop knife? And the friend is like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so the guy, he's like, oh, well, maybe it's called something different in this house. And so he starts making up other things like, turd cleaver, like all these different things, only to find out he's the only person in the world that has ever had a poop knife in their house. And the story gets even better.
Yeah, the poop knife, see? The turd cleaver.
The story gets even better because then it flashes back to his childhood, where apparently he comes from genetic stock where these people take some large turds. And so it was like a perfectly reasonable thing to have a poop knife in their house so that they could cut the turd in half so it would flush down properly
Instead of just
Oh my
spinning in the
God.
top of the bowl.
And so in his house, they always had, they had the plunger there. On the other side, they would have the toilet brush and everything like that. And then there'd be like this little hook. And on that hook would be, an old rusty sort of kitchen knife, steak knife sort of thing. And, you just reach. So as he, gets older, he thinks that everybody has this thing. He never really encountered the problem elsewhere before. He even gets married, and he has a poop knife in his house with his wife during this whole time. She has no idea what the fuck that knife is saying there for. And so apparently for years, she had been using that knife to just cut open random things. Oh, we got a box from Amazon. Let's cut the fucker open with this utility knife that hangs in the bathroom. Like, oh man, like, some piece of string is coming off a Junior's shirt. Let's grab the knife and cut it off. All the time, it was the poop
Whoopsie,
knife.
too much toothpaste. Gotta cut that in half, put it back.
Yep.
Oh my
boy.
gosh. Did you guys see that?
I really like the idea of him like nonchalantly going out to people like, yeah, you don't have a poop knife? Like,
Hey, bro, where's your poop knife?
Did you guys see that UK story about there was a clog on a regional scale? It was like I don't know if it was a block or a neighborhood or what, and they ended up going down the sewer and they dug out this monster like poop ball that was stuck in there and it had all this debris and stuff stuck in it. It's just been building up over the years.
No, I haven't heard of that. That's awful. I'd hate to have that job. I'd probably quit that day.
It says, I've got it here. Total monster, Fatberg blocks London sewage system. Thames Water must break up congealed mass of fat, wet wipes, and nappies to prevent raw sewage flooding streets. And they were trying to get people to stop flushing certain things down the toilet and stuff because it was just out of control.
Yeah. That's weird.
Warren just posted a GIF that says poop spelled backwards is poop.
Warren, you're so funny tonight.
Warren's been great, man.
What's a job that you wouldn't want to do?
The one I have now.
What's a job that you would consider doing if the economy like collapsed and we just had to do the essentials, no luxury jobs?
I guess I would be the trader that walks around with his two-headed cow.
That sounds more like a circus.
Y'all never played Fallout?
I would go directly into prostitution.
Interesting. I don't know if you could make it, buddy.
That's
Well,
rude. I think I would pay you. I'd pay you.
You couldn't even climb the pole, man. I don't see there being much of a future for you in that. You gotta have some good grip, man.
He can climb that pole, just not the big pole.
Exactly.
So, Alex, who are you prostituting yourself to? Anybody?
Random strangers under the bridge, probably. Like, I don't know. Maybe under
Oh.
like the New Jersey Turnpike. There are usually some homeless people that
All of Hobo Brian's friends.
maybe they'd pay like $5 for a handy.
I don't know, man. We're talking Great Depression here. That's kind of an expensive one.
All right, I'll knock it down to like $3.50.
Are we talking about... I don't know if we're talking about Great Depression or communism. I think it has to be capitalism because otherwise we would...
Communism, everybody gets a free hand job.
That's true.
Exactly.
You wake up in the morning, handy. The military,
But
though.
it's a bad hand job and nobody comes.
He comes while he gives you a hand job.
Yeah.
You don't come.
Only the elite come.
I don't think that I would be able to tolerate working in like a factory on an assembly line. I think it'd be too... Well, it depends. If I had cool people to hang out with and I was allowed to have breaks and do antics and stuff. But I need the freedom to be creative and stuff. I don't want a mindless job. If I get to be picky.
Yeah, I've done
Maybe I'd
some
go work.
factory work before, and it does suck. Like, if you have any sort of imagination, it just... Oh my gosh, it can make 20 minutes feel like 40 hours.
Yeah, I'd have everybody...
At the end of the day, you just leave drained.
Yeah, I'd have everybody on the line singing Chang Gang songs. I've thought about that. I thought, what would I do? Like, if I was a prisoner of war, or if I was sent to, like, the Jews were in the gas chamber, not in the gas chambers, but they were in the prisons just waiting. And if I wasn't gonna get like beaten up for having fun or something, I would probably just be the guy that tries to boost the morale in my personal cabin. I don't know if that's possible when you're a prisoner, but I can't like stay depressed all the time. I have to be a morale booster.
Yeah, I'm
Dave
a
Ryan
really
gets murdered.
positive person throughout everything, but I don't know how positive I would be in that situation.
It's kind of a coping mechanism. I think I'd have to.
Yeah. What's your subject for this week, Brian? Your topic?
It could be kind of on that topic, actually, because I was thinking, for the first episode, I was thinking about people's, I don't know how to put the word, but it's like it could be as partly their personalities, but it's also kind of like their temperament, I guess. There are people, even just going to the grocery store, you're waiting in line, and somebody's upset because something happens at the cash register with the cashier, and so they kind of throw a fit or they're rude. And it's so weird to me because I'm so uncomfortable making people uncomfortable, and I want everyone to be happy. And so every time I go out, I try to be as like polite and courteous as I can be, and I try to brighten the people around me. But there's some people who aren't like that, and I've kind of wondered about that. Like, what is it? I understand if you get grumpy or something, but what is it that makes you have that desire to lash out at other people with road rage or with cutting in line or with, I don't know, whatever it is? Do you guys have like a way to deal with that? Do you guys struggle with anger or temperamentalism or anything like that?
The only thing that I really get angry about, and I just sound stupid, but is video games. Because I hate doing the same thing over and over. So if I get stuck on something and it's like, I've got to redo this 5-minute thing like 10 times, I start getting angry. But
I don't remember if it was Tara who it was, but I remember you mentioning you've broken a lot of controllers or at least thrown them.
yeah, well, not in a few years. That was more middle school and like even high school some. But I haven't broken one in years. But yeah, in middle school and high school, PS2 controllers were not the most sturdy of controllers.
Good thing you weren't around in the Nintendo days as a high schooler. You would have had holes in your walls.
Yeah, especially the square controllers, like that angle, like the edge and the corners, man, that could mess up some drywall.
I threw the remote for my TV at the wall and had the perfect like rectangular imprint of the remote on the wall.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it only went in like a millimeter or two, but it was enough to like, yeah, that's where the remote hit. It just happened to hit perfectly flat somehow.
I've never understood that, because you're not just like inflicting it on somebody, you're doing it to yourself, and controllers are getting expensive these days.
Yeah, I don't like I said, I don't throw them anymore. Or if I do, I like kind of more drop it or like kind of toss it up in the air onto the couch or something. But yeah,
I got to the point where I was able to fix my Super Nintendo controllers. I would just break out the screwdriver, undo it, like put the buttons all back into place, and then, close it all back together.
The thing that frustrates me most is when I am having trouble. I don't have quite enough knowledge to do something, so I'm trying to fix a piece of tech or whatever, and I have to stop what I'm doing, get interrupted as I go onto YouTube and try to look at like helpful videos or tutorials, and I'm just like, I just want to get this done.
Paul's
Because I actually
Paul's work.
Right, I enjoy software, I enjoy check, I don't even mind troubleshooting, as long as I can just do the stuff in my head. Maybe I'll try this, maybe I'll try that, maybe I'll try that. But if it's so foreign that I can't even think of the steps I need to take or the steps I need to try, and I'm just kind of blindly searching on the internet, I hate that. It gets to me. Other than that, I'm pretty laid back usually.
Yeah, same here.
The only thing that I can think that like really gets to me is
Boomer
having
posting.
to repeat. Boomer posting, of course. Boomer posting is like the dumbest shit. It's just those top text, bottom text fucking memes from fucking mom Facebook groups.
Immigrants. Am I right, guys? Am I right, immigrants? Fucking immigrants, right, guys? Yeah.
You guys fucking hate black people too? It's like fucking the worst shit. Just fucking hate all that garbage. But anyway, the only thing that makes me really angry nowadays is having to like repeat myself. For some reason, that's like the thing that like really gets to me. But other than that, I'm pretty chilled and laid back, I think.
Wait, what was that?
I said having to repeat myself, you fucker.
Hey, it's funny that the only two dads did the dad joke in a podcast. You can tell who the dads are.
You see those videos though, where people just go off. And I would never do that, not just because I don't want to inflict that awkwardness on other people, but I'd be just embarrassed for myself. I don't want to do anything. I'm a personality type that just wants to kind of stay in the background and not gather attention, but there's people on the internet and YouTube videos where they'll just like suck the whole room in around them like a black hole as they throw this tantrum in the middle of a store.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. I saw there was a video of road rage, and the guy was like speeding up to catch up to this guy, and he was filming himself, and when the guy caught up to him, he just pointed his gun out the window, and the guy like slammed on the brakes. Like, not today.
That reminds me, I am going to go look up Jamaican fistfights, by the way.
Oh yeah, they're great. Especially, you can hardly understand anything that's being said, but it's still awesome.
What is it with other cultures, do you think? What is it with Russians? You see those road rage Russians, all those videos?
God,
and there's so many of them. It just goes on and on.
Speaking as someone who comes from a Russian family, with Russian immigrants who recently moved here from the years 1980 to 1990, yeah, it's a cultural thing, and it's also an age thing, but I think it's a lot of it actually I think has to do with language and Russians, just the Russian language and the Russian kind of syntax just being generally like angrier and more confrontational.
Yeah, Russians and German, the language just sounds angry.
Yeah.
You could be like, I love this flower, but it sounds like you're yelling "fuck you" at the top of your lungs.
Yeah.
Therefore, I think that
leads to the more confrontational nature of certain people and certain cultures.
That is fascinating. I've never thought about that before.
Well, they're just an intense people, too. I mean, like, just look at any sort of Russian videos. They're, like, going onto these skyscrapers that are under construction and just hanging off of the girders that are sticking out of the side of the building and everything to see how long they can hang there. No straps or anything.
So I don't know if anybody likes hardcore and follows the Chariot, but I've watched so many Chariot live videos because they're always insane, and the Chariot as a band does a lot of crazy stuff on stage anyway. But the most insane one I've ever seen was on their final tour, and they went through Moscow, Russia, and those guys for 2 hours straight, the crowd was just crazy, and they were up on stage and they were climbing all over, and they were like throwing hats and taking hats, and I mean there was shirts coming off, and it was just madness for like 2 hours. I couldn't believe it. I've never been to a show that crazy.
Warren just posted a gif of a chariot race, but the horses are wiener dogs.
Great content, Warren. He's really been contributing tonight.
Can you just be Warren's social media manager? Let's just really quickly. Can we talk about Warren? What is his deal? Is he just
He's right
shy?
here, guys.
I know, but I don't think that he can really explain it to me in a way that I could really understand.
He's just a maniac for gifts. He just loves some gifts.
I guess. I would get bored, personally.
Well, actually, there's a couple interesting things about it. Because, for one, it's kind of cool when it makes it an event whenever he does actually say something with words.
That's true. That is true.
And so there's like a really cool like managing of expectations game being played with all the GIFs. But then the other thing is when you post something and it doesn't get a Warren GIF, you feel like a piece of shit afterwards.
Why no love, Warren?
That's how I feel whenever Blake's girlfriend posts anything. I always get really excited because she never posts anything. Or the first time that she ever changed the name of the group, I was like, oh man! Jeez.
I love that dude called her out for deleting his comments or some shit. Like, she made that post just to delete all of us and block all of us. Like, dude, she wanted you blocked, she would have blocked you, first of all. Second of all, she's an admin. She literally cannot report you. It is impossible. There's only delete or block or mute. There's no report option. And he kept going. I'll give him credit. He argued for about an hour or two.
The thing with Warren, though, is that there are days where my phone is like just constantly going off, and because I have my phone on like vibrate, and it's just like Warren Maxwell commented on your photo. Warren Maxwell commented on a post, and it's just like fucking 7 straight notifications of Warren Maxwell. And I like check my phone. I'm like, oh my god, did I get a text from like a friend or my girlfriend or my mom, something important? And they just check my phone. I'm like, fucking gifts.
Yeah, because that's how it'll be. There'll be like 17 KJ notifications in a row from all sorts of Uganda Knuckles and Tide Pod memes. And then
Don't even get me started on that fuck.
And then like another 17 Randall Savage ones. And then there'll be like another like 25 Warren GIFs commenting on each one of those.
My favorite thing is that we are a meme group and we have memes in our name and we get pissed when people post memes.
Yeah.
No, but the thing is that certain people like run the fucking ground. Like KJ just like abuses memes to the point where they're just like not funny anymore. Like Uganda Knuckles was funny for like a week, but like KJ has been posting them for like 3 weeks. So it's like at a certain point you just got to put the meme out to pasture. Got to give it the of mice and men treatment and shoot him in the back of the head.
Since we ragged on him last podcast, I haven't even seen him around that much.
Well, Tony had him muted.
That makes sense.
But you're right. He's
coming on soon, isn't he?
Yeah, I think. Let me check here. He has calmed down with the memes though. He's mostly just been commenting on people's stuff. Next week is Christian Chapa and KJ Snyder.
Oh, cool.
We'll see how that goes. We'll give him a chance to defend himself.
Is he going to lecture us on the intricacies of film and all the things that we missed as plebeians that watch the films?
Yeah, I was thinking about doing a KJ segment where we just come up with these really hot topics and we just throw them at him. He's got 30 seconds to, as fast as he can, just ramble off all the thoughts he can cram into 30 seconds about that topic. Hopefully that'll keep him from droning on for 2 hours. I don't really have much to say about my topic other than it's a mystery to me. I don't really understand the mentality or the kind of audacity of people who rage in public or even just treat people like shit just for doing their jobs. I used to deal with that at the hotel.
I'm too nice, I think. Like, I know I don't come off that way online, but I get so awkward and shy like when confrontation happens. Like if I need to, I'll get upset. But generally in public, there's never really a need, to be honest.
When I was at the hotel, especially once I became manager, I had to toughen up and just start standing my ground and dealing with people that were like that, who would take advantage of you or try to walk all over you. And when you are in the industry dealing with people, one thing you see is they'll really escalate stories when they retell them. So they might call you up and be like, your front desk person screamed at me. And we used to get that. Like, I remember specifically this one incident. It was reported that our night auditor at the time screamed at this guest and was being so rude. And I know the night auditor, like, he is one of the most quiet people I've ever met. You almost can't even get a word out of him. And when he does talk, you'll have to be like, what? I can't hear you. You're so quiet.
I think there is a certain value in some people getting that mad because, you know, conflict it's the basis of all storytelling. And so there would be no interesting stories if there weren't people that just flew off the fucking handle sometimes.
That's true. We had one, my dad owns a computer repair store, and back in the day, they had this, I think it was when he had an internet service too, which is mostly what he does now, but this guy called up and he left a message on the machine because nobody was there at the time. It was after hours, and they came in that morning, press play on the answering machine, and he was like, this is such and such, the pastor at the such and such church. I was trying to download a Bible program, and your internet wouldn't let me download my Bible program, and he just went off, and we were like, they were just standing there like, what the hell? I don't want to deal with the awkwardness afterwards either, because so many of those people that do that, you have to talk to them later and carry on a conversation with them.
Right, especially like people at work, like the people that you work with that get confrontational with other coworkers. Like, why? Now you have to see them like 40 hours a week, and now it's just awkward and bad.
My little sister just started working at an IHOP in California.
Yeah.
And she has this girl that's been working there longer than her, so she's kind of got seniority. And she's kind of the shift manager, so she was having my sister do like these certain tables and stuff. They had their own sections, and she was going to leave, and she ended up the shift manager was going to leave, and she ended up not cleaning her tables or doing any of her cleanup work. And so they asked, I don't remember if it went to my sister, if they were like, what happened, and she ratted her out basically, because not trying to be a jerk, but just saying, well, she just didn't do this and this and this. Anyway, the shift manager got super pissed and just like laid into my little sister. She started crying, and it was in front of the manager, and it was during working hours, so it was like there were people in the restaurant, and it was embarrassing. And then they had to sort it all out. They had cameras. They were able to kind of see what went down and stuff. But after this whole dramatic mess, they just had to come back into work the next day and work together. It's just like, why would you like ruin the next several months of your job by screaming at this person and getting in a fight when you know you have to work with them?
I mean, it's a restaurant. That happens every single day in like every restaurant.
Yeah, restaurants, I did restaurants probably the first 6 years that I've worked. And especially if you're in the kitchen, I mean, you're going to yell, call names, do whatever, and then the next day come in, your best friends again. So that's just how it is.
I guess.
It's different with the wait staff and stuff, because like you said, it's usually kind of younger girls or guys, whereas the kitchen's kind of a little bit more rough, I guess. But
have you guys had jobs where you worked with, and it was all girls or all guys?
I mean, definitely not.
Not really. Well, yeah, you're a trucker.
Well, not only that, like, let's see, the Advanced Auto Parts was mostly guys most of the time. There were these two old black ladies, Gwen and Zelda, and they were the coolest fucking people I've ever known. I miss them so much. Like, shout out.
Well, her name was
either of them like ever listened to this show. I kind of doubt it, but
you know. That's episode 0 and 1.
Yeah, but then like let's see, all the bike shops that I worked at were almost completely just all dudes. Like the one in Michigan, there was I think one woman that worked there, and she was cool as fuck. But mainly it was a guys show there too. Like for a long time, the zip line was mostly guys, and Yeah, it happens.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I think maybe like 70 or 80% of my office, where I work at, Rutgers in the HR department, is probably women. Oh, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's what I work with, I guess.
I was just curious if there was a general difference that anyone has noticed, or if it's about the same.
With restaurants down here, I know the kitchens are almost every place I worked at were exclusively male. You get some women to do stuff here and there, or different places, but the front staff is a lot of the time mostly female too, like waiting tables and stuff.
It was mostly women when I worked at Subway, and then it was mostly women that I dealt with when I worked at the hotel, because it was housekeeping, and it's generally women who apply for housekeeping. I had a few dudes up in the front desk, and in maintenance, but mostly I dealt with women. And there was a lot of kind of infighting and drama that went on, but for the most part at the hotel, they got along pretty well. I don't think that the stereotypes of women always being dramatic and fighty really held up in that job. We were mostly friends. So I don't know. There's just curiosity, really.
And really, it's the opposite stereotype that drives the thing with house cleaning. Because, I mean, if you go into a hotel and you see male housekeepers, book a fucking different hotel. Like, holy shit, that place is going to be dirty as fuck.
I don't know. We didn't hire male housekeepers very often. We had a couple that I can remember, but mostly we just hired women, because partly it's because women were the most that applied, but a lot of times it's just the women wanted to work with women. They didn't really feel as comfortable working with some random dude, because sometimes they'd have to get paired up and be in a room together cleaning, so it was just kind of, I don't know, more comfortable. That's about all I have to say for my topic.
I got a topic. So this comes from a November Huffington Post article, and it is from the title of the article is that the dad who recorded Charlie Bit My Finger is shocked that his video was found in Osama bin Laden's collection.
Oh, I did see that.
Okay, so I'll read a bit here. When Osama bin Laden wasn't planning terrorist attacks such as 9/11, he was apparently watching YouTube videos like Charlie Bit My Finger. And that shocks Howard Davies Carr, who filmed his son Charlie biting the finger of his brother Harry in the now legendary 2007 viral video.
It's been that long.
Yeah, it's been a while. Turns out Charlie Bit My Finger was one of the many videos that Navy SEALs found in bin Laden's collection when they stormed his compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan on May 2nd, 2011, according to a CIA press release issued Wednesday.
Oh my God.
So my question from this is, what other videos do you think are in Osama bin Laden's collection?
Okay, how long ago was that?
2007.
The
video?
Yeah, 2007. They found the video in 2011, and they just reported it around the end of last year.
So they killed him in 11, right? That's when they found all of his stash or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There'd have to be
Okay.
something before 11, or at least around then.
Okay.
God, I can't think. I'm bad at knowing when videos were out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Double Rainbow, but I gotta look up the date.
I mean, I think we can all agree, probably thousands of kitten videos.
Oh, for sure. Dude.
Bin Laden had it. He was pretty soft at
Dude.
heart.
So I have
If
a
you get
question
deep
about
down.
Does this make Charlie a terrorist?
No.
Was he aiding and abetting? Does that make him associated with terrorism?
Possibly.
I think we should
Never-
Charlie.
never-
You get Charlie on the podcast.
How old is that kid? That kid's got to be like 14 now?
Well, that depends. Was the video filmed in 2011, or was it just put online then?
Well, at least before then.
Filmed in 07. Okay, so the article, I should have read more of the article. Charlie is 11 now, and Harry is 13.
Okay, he's a little too young for our podcast, but
If we get the dad to be chill with it, maybe he'll come on.
Double Rainbow was 2010, so it could have been on there. One of the last ones.
Yeah.
How about that one with the guy in the green suit that jumps off of the counter and is like, "I'm gay"?
No, that was way after that. IW.
Oh, okay.
Do you guys remember Star Wars Kid?
Oh,
Oh yeah, definitely.
That was one of the like earliest that I can think of.
The one that's like doing all the lightsaber tricks with the broom and shit, and then
Yeah, that was one of the best. That was like one of the most original memes that took off and was parodied because people didn't have a lot of video editing software at the time. So for the ability to be parodied was kind of tricky.
Did you think he had chocolate rain on his stash? That was probably around that time. I'm trying to think what was like popular then. I don't know. There's been so many videos and memes since then. I forget.
What did you guys used to watch in the early days of YouTube? I remember following Bree or Lonely Girl 18 for her fake. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the fake eHarmony thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't know. I remember before YouTube, Break.com was really big, which I just found out that's still a thing. I didn't know that was still out there.
My friends and I used to watch a lot of like Weeble and Bob and a lot of Flash videos. Of course, Homestar Runner, but and of course a lot of what's the guy that did the stick figure videos?
I'm not sure.
Simple Animation. He did my head is now a giant eyeball and my anus is bleeding. You don't know?
I don't know that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
those are going to be some great moments to clip out of context.
We used
It
to
was
have, what was it? Jake
it was
and Amir,
rejected.
College Humor.
Don Hertzfeld.
Chicken and Amir was pretty great.
Yeah, that was when College Humor was still funny.
I loved Jake and Amir, but I didn't like any other of the College Humor skits and sketches. It
There was
just
a few
Jake
I
and Amir.
liked, but yeah, Jake and Amir was the best. I remember the Facebook thing was really funny. They kept changing his like marital status, and they turned him gay, and he started liking The Notebook and stuff. Like mid conversation to this girl who was just changing who he was.
I like the idea of the CIA analyst that has to go through all of Bin Laden's shit like that, and he's just sitting there like, "Oh man, I like this video too. Oh, I like this one too." And then like he realized that he's like got all this shit in common with Osama bin Laden, and then he's like, "Oh fuck."
Maybe he really wasn't that bad of a guy.
Yeah.
Dude, can you imagine if Bin Laden was around for like Vine? He would have been like the best Viner on the platform.
Hell yeah.
Like he would have been doing like all that shit. He would have gotten sponsorships too. Like he would have been all in on the Vine train.
You think he would have a Snapchat?
Oh, for sure. Dude, imagine Osama bin Laden on Instagram.
He'd be like some meme
Taking pictures of
master.
his breakfast.
No, he'd be one of those dudes on Instagram that just like takes pictures of like the fucking like view outside. It's like, oh, it's another great day in Pakistan, baby. And it's just like a
Fake
picture of,
inspirational
like,
quote.
It's another picture of like sand or some shit. And
Better yet, he's like a Pinterest lord that's like got all his decoration game in the cave on point, you know.
Bin Laden is one of those dudes that like puts photographer in his bio, but he really just uploads cool
Yeah.
pictures to Instagram.
Just cave things.
Bin Laden might have been into Garfield without Garfield. Garfield minus Garfield.
I have
No?
not seen that.
Nobody?
I have no idea what that
Haven't
is.
seen that either. I don't know.
Oh. It was 2008. This guy was going through all these Garfield comics, and he took Garfield out of all of them, so it was just John talking to himself.
Oh, nice.
And so it was like about this mentally depressed, like schizophrenic dude. Friday.
Was Friday out before 2011?
I think so. Hold on. I measure 2007 to 2011, like by the time that I was dating and married. So I'm trying
Yeah,
to think back to
Friday
what I
was-
was doing.
That came out when I was in high school, so that would have had to have been before 2011 because I graduated in 2011.
Let's see.
So I'm guessing y'all
Oops.
aren't talking about the movie Friday.
No.
Oh,
The
okay.
Rebecca Black song, if you can call it that.
Oh, it was 2011. You're right.
How dope
Google
would it
Images
be
lied to
if
me.
Bin Laden had Friday, though? Damn!
He said bye Felicia every time he killed somebody.
Bin Laden. I feel like Bin Laden might just be the biggest like Ice Cube fan, and he like has all his movies on DVD, and he's got all the old NWA records.
Do you think Bin Laden was more of a PewDiePie guy or a Toby Turner guy?
I don't know who Toby Turner is.
Oh,
Oh. He was kind of the PewDiePie ripoff for a while.
I guess PewDiePie, because that's the only one I know. So.
And then he got in trouble for, like, groping
Rape.
girls and... Yeah.
I feel like I don't think Osama's really a big Let's Play guy. Like I don't think he's into that video game nerd shit. Like, you know.
What else was he doing in his cave?
I don't know, watching maybe. I feel like he might be like a cinephile. I feel like he might be like a cinephile, like KJ.
A
like,
KJ?
Yeah, like he just like analyzes like films and like breaks them down. What if we got
What
like
if Osama's not dead and he's KJ? He just shaved his beard off.
That's possible. It's possible.
Okay, so Osama had he was...
Obama. Alright, you fucking conspiracy theorist.
I mean, that's how you know we live in like some sort of weird Matrix simulation. I mean, like, not even a decade after 9/11, we get the guy runs for president with the closest fucking name you could have to the worst terrorist we've ever known, and he wins twice.
With the middle name Hussein, too.
Yeah, it's
One of those
insane.
dirty Arabs.
Anyway, so Osama was a Criterion Collection man then. He probably had the whole collection.
I've looked through those movies on Hulu, and there's not a single one I think I would ever watch.
Watch the samurai
not-
ones, dude.
Are they good?
Yeah, the Seven Samurai is awesome. You gotta read subtitles, though. They're
I don't mind that.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
didn't think any of them looked appealing to me. Because they got
Yeah,
a Criterion collection on Hulu, and they all look like really just snore fest.
Yeah, all the Kurosawa ones are just awesome, though. Yeah, Seven Samurai's probably the best one to first watch, and then, like, you know, getting into Yojimbo or, like, Rashomon, or they're just awesome.
Long, though.
Yeah, they
think-
are long. I
isn't-
think, yeah, Seven Samurai is probably the shortest one, and it's like 3.5 hours long or something.
Jesus. Alright, I'll let you know when I watch that one.
But once you watch that in some of his other movies, you will see how, like, literally every other movie that came after those borrows stuff from it. It's insane.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out at some point for sure.
Oh, I got one. Do you think Osama had All Your Base Are Belong to Us?
Oh, definitely.
Probably.
He would probably sing
I
that
like-
to himself, like, as he was, like, you know, taking some province and shit, like, oh, all your base, or belong to me. I
Do you
kind of
think he
made him
had it?
sound too Indian, but you get the point.
all your bobs are belong to us.
Send your bobs and veggie to me.
Do you think he had I Like Turtles, Kid?
He had to. If he had Charlie bit my finger, he had to have had that one.
Speaking of Charlie's, Gregway, he also probably had Charlie the Unicorn. Okay, here's the big one. Are you ready? Did Osama bin Laden have 2 girls, 1 cup?
Oh, God.
For fucking sure. Like, there's no way he didn't have 2 girls, 1 cup.
Yeah, I think
But
so.
maybe that would be like American, like, I don't know, sinning or something to him. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
what,
it could
like,
be.
I don't know what Osama bin Laden was like into, like, sexually.
I don't know. I mean, he killed like 2,000 people, so obviously his morals aren't exactly right there.
That's true.
What do you think it's like living in a world of burqas?
A world of what?
Do you think you'd actually... A world of
world of what?
burqas. Do you think you'd actually get excited at seeing a girl's ankle?
Yeah,
I would
I mean,
assume
well,
so. If you don't see anything else ever, yeah.
I mean, these guys are getting excited by looking at goats, so, I mean, yeah.
That's true, and they're very repressed.
It
I
all
wonder,
depends.
though...
on the expectations.
Is it the same kind of attraction though? Because women are property and they're just shit to those guys. So what is their attraction like? Is it like twisted?
I think it's different, for sure, because women are treated more as like property.
Like if they look around, is it like all they see is it's like the Matrix code, but all they see is rape instead of just like I want to be with that girl. We could have a life together in a picket fence. They're just like I'd rape her and then stone her. I don't know. I don't know what it's like to have that kind of twisted mentality.
Remember that story about, like, there was a town where, like, everyone in the town was named Osama bin Laden? And he even had, like, a few body doubles in that town that looked just like him. They were named Osama bin Laden, and so was everyone else in the town.
No.
I mean, just imagine the head fuck, like, the troops going in there to, you know, kind of investigate that town. It just... You had to just question reality at that point. Like, what the fuck am I doing? I just signed up so I'd get college paid for, and now I'm, like, in the middle of a fucking desert halfway across the planet in a town where everybody has the same name.
Alright, well, I got a question for you guys. If there was one time period in history that you would have to live in, what would it be? If you woke up tomorrow and someone was like, you have to go to this time period to live for the rest of your life, where would you go? What time?
1940s.
1940s?
Yeah, that's kind of where I belong.
Okay.
In Germany?
No. See, if I'm born like in 1940, then by the time I'm like living my life, it's kind of after all that shit's over and I'm kind of living it up.
Okay. And so you want to kind of be your age now in the 60s?
Yeah. I don't really like the 60s that much. Maybe interesting. Maybe I want to be in the 1935 or something so I can kind of live through the 50s.
Okay. Yeah, that's more what I was kind of asking, is like, if, you know, your age now, like, where would you want to be?
Because I prefer the movies. I prefer the culture. Aside from, I understand that women were also a little bit property, and I understand that I don't necessarily like the way that they were treated, but I also, it's just my preference for kind of the way that people live, the lifestyle, the general like clothing style, and the cars were cool, and there's just, I don't know.
Not the social and political climate, just
everybody got to smoke and drink at work.
Yeah. Being able to say the N-word in public.
Okay, Jesus. I'm not gonna say it, but there was, my mom said they had we were talking about different varieties of nuts, and she said there was these one kind of nuts, and I don't remember what they were actually called, but when she was growing up, they just called them N-word toes.
Wow.
Jesus.
And that was not even, it wasn't even like, she'd never even thought of it as a racial slur or anything. She just thought that's what they were called because that's what everybody called them.
It's got to be Brazil nuts. I mean, like, you look at them,
I think that's right. I think you're right. I'm going to look it up real quick, but I think you're right.
That internet search is going to be great.
You are right.
What about you, Alex? What time period?
For some reason, I'm thinking the 80s. I don't know why. But,
okay. Y'all are going current.
Yeah, but that's
well, what do you expect? Like if we go any farther back than that, we just lose all of our dentistry, all of our medical. We lose our bathrooms. We lose our showers. People like showered twice a year, maybe bathed twice a year.
So I'm going Wild West, like early 18 or late 1800s, mid 1800s, something like that.
Before we jump to the Wild West, I have a theory. I have a conspiracy theory. And it's not really a conspiracy, but I have a feeling that we were going along pretty nicely. The 50s happened, the 60s happened, the 70s happened. And then there was a rift in like this space-time continuum, and from another dimension, the era of the 80s came. And it was just like complete weirdness and vibrant colors, and everything was bonkers, and the music was psychedelic weird. And then the 90s kind of got out of it, but I feel like it was so out of the blue that it couldn't possibly have been a natural occurrence. It was something weird happened, something supernatural. Because it's weird. It doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's from the drugs.
Yeah, if I was a kid or like an early teen, 12, 13, whatever, I guess that's still kid, but, teens. But I wouldn't mind living in the 80s. Because just, I was born in 92, so by the time I was that old, it was already early 2000s. But seeing the movies and TV shows and stuff of growing up in the 80s seemed like it was a lot of fun.
Chris, I assume you have some memories from there, right? You're like 40, 45?
32.
So you're only 1 year older than me. So I have enough memories to remember, like, there was a lot more freedom playing outside.
Yeah.
And there was a lot more there was less fearful.
Right. See, like I was, like we talked about this last podcast, but I played outside all the time through all the neighborhoods around me, but, there was no, like, I'm going to go walk or ride my bike to the mall or something, you know what I mean? There was nothing like that. It was just like, stay in this neighborhood or the one that's kind of connected through a road, through a back road or whatever, little dirt road, but that was about it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I always look back fondly just at the movies and stuff, because obviously not memories, but of like the arcades and stuff like that.
For real. What I would miss most if I traveled back to the 30s and 40s is that I wouldn't have any toys when I was a kid. It's like, here, play with this stick and pretend it's a gun. Like the 80s and the 90s were the ideal time if you like to play with toys and use your imagination and stuff. There was so much to choose from. And the video games came out.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I guess that would be my choice. But
you just complained that we're
the Wild West, man.
Yeah, back then a kid would get like a wooden toy train that their, dad whittled out of a, log at some point, and that was their one toy for their whole entire life.
Yeah. Listen, if we had to go back
some creepy doll.
Go ahead, sorry.
That's the thing that horror stories are all made of, some little creepy doll from the 1930s or 20s or something.
So if I went back as my age now, I would pick the Wild West. But if I went back to like pick a year to be born in, it would probably be like mid to late 70s. That way I grew up in the 80s.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I'd probably do that too. Or maybe even only, instead of being born in 85, I would go with being born in 1980. That would be perfect.
Yeah. The cool thing is, like, that was also the height of the superheroes, the height of Legos, there's just so many epic things that really took off.
Right.
What is it about the Cowboys that appeals to you?
I don't know, just the craziness of it all, the wildness.
The chaps.
Just free. Yeah, the assless chaps.
Well, you don't need the assless part. All chaps are assless. If they weren't assless, they'd be pants.
I have mixed feelings. I like the freedom. I don't, obviously, as I already stated, I don't like that if you get a bad tooth, they just got to rip it out. Or if you get cancer, they just give you some sort of opiate and you just have to tough it out until you die.
Sure, obviously there's negatives to it, but,
yeah.
I think...
But the positive... Oh, and then obviously the freedom also means somebody just could come up and shoot you.
When you were first talking about the freedom, I thought you were still talking about the chaps.
Out of all the cowboy movies I've seen, I think that I probably wouldn't, I don't know. I don't know if I'd like the jobs because, like, going on cattle runs, you got to sleep on the dirt. You got to eat what you've got.
Oh, I don't want to be like a cattle runner. I want to be like a fucking outlaw. I'm shooting people, man. I'm robbing banks. I said freedom. I don't want to be tied down to a bunch of fucking cows.
Why does that not surprise me?
There was a lot less of that back then than the movies make it seem. Like that
time period has been so kind of
I'd make sure there's a lot more of it if I went back there.
Basically, everything that you did Everything that you've done with CLC, you would have done, but as Cowboys. You get banned from every town that you were in.
All right, let's say
Go start your own little group.
let's change it up a little bit. If y'all still have time to keep talking, if you could go back in time and take one item with you and all of your knowledge, what would you go back? Where would you go back, and what would you do?
I want my cell phone and Wi-Fi connection.
Well, that's two, and also that's a Wi-Fi connection. That you have to take the whole fucking internet with you, dude.
Yep, I'm taking the internet.
The wires all throughout the underground and everything.
Obviously, you'd want something where you'd be some sort of god, right?
Yeah, I think the 80s would be cooler, maybe the 70s, and take like a PC with you, like a powerful PC.
Oh, I was thinking like, you go back to caveman days and you take fire.
Yeah.
And they worship
Yeah,
you.
you're God.
I mean, that'd be cool for 3 days until a fucking saber-tooth kills you.
You go back to caveman days and take the outfit for C-3PO from Return of the Jedi. You're just this gold robot-looking thing.
If you could go back to maybe, I don't know if it would be maybe medieval days or something, and you took gunpowder, you could be a king.
Yeah, but I mean,
Well, I mean,
Well, I mean,
'Cause
they
you could
had
just-
gunpowder back then. It wasn't like, that. It was just
I was
like
thinking
not
of-
the smokeless type. It was, black powder back then.
take a machine gun with you.
I was thinking of all the
Dude, you would
trebuchets
fucking
and
rule the
ballistas and
world.
stuff.
Until you
Yeah.
ran out of bullets.
You think Napoleon took over a lot? You could make more bullets, man. You know how? You have the know-how now.
not with the kind of machinery they had back then. You couldn't make
You
a
can
type
build that
of
with
bullet
machinery.
that would.
Fire out of a AK-47 or anything.
But you gotta think, they could have made that machinery then. So if you go back with the knowledge you have now, you could figure it out. You know what I mean? You take that bullet to a fucking scientist or something back then.
A scientist back then.
Oh my god.
Holy shit! Oh man!
We're gonna have to edit that down. That lasted way too long.
It's true.
It's too good. Oh my abs. That was too much.
Holy shit.
Oh, man.
Oh man. So did we get everybody's topics?
I think
I
so.
think so. We didn't get Tony's topic.
Freaking Tony. So I'll read you the message he sent me. He said, "Fuck, bro, my bad. So I have an idea. Sometime this week, you should give me a hard-hitting interview for my atonement." I like to believe that was an intentional pun. Atonement. So yeah, he's definitely not gonna.
All right.
Man, that made me tired.
Yeah. Seriously.
My eyes are still watery and shit.
I know.
Oh, man. I think that's a good place to end the podcast right there.
5 minutes
I
of
think
laughter.
so. We're at 8 o'clock.
Got a few questions from the group.
Oh, okay.
Shoot, I forgot
I
to.
made a post while we were recording because I forgot to make one earlier today.
Good call.
So Ramin was the first one to ask. He said, "Who is the best poster in the group, and why is it Ramin?"
Ramin, it's already been established that your memes are terrible and nobody thinks you're funny.
Oh snap! Oh snap!
I think he's funny sometimes.
I don't know who the best poster is, honestly.
That's me.
That's me.
Randall
know.
has been getting better. He was bad for a while.
Yeah, but he's
Yeah.
he's really hit or miss though. Randall just posts in I think Alex, I think you said this, that Randall just posts in quantity, so obviously he's gonna hit every once in a while.
Yeah, that's true.
Alex, are you with us? He fell asleep.
He fell asleep podcasting.
He died laughing so hard.
Okay, next question.
All right, let me get back to it. I was trying to look through some posts. I don't really see any. This one is one probably not going to answer. Are y'all going to answer it? I don't know. How big are y'all's dicks? From Vincent.
So are we talking like, or are we talking flaccid here? Or are we talking, full on?
Ready to
Anywhere
go.
from 1 to
Next
9,
question.
depending on my mood. Chris said, how often, Chris Figueroa said, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, sorry. How often does Chris listen to Convoy, C.W. McCall, while he works?
Do what?
He said, how often do you listen to Convoy by C.W. McCall? I don't know, I'm guessing it's a song.
Oh, okay, it's that truck driving song. I've maybe heard it once, like 9 years ago.
On a country station.
How often do you listen to Weird Al Yankovic singing, I'm driving my truck, driving my big old truck, driving my truck with my high heels on?
I don't think I've
never
heard that one.
No? You're a truck driver, I'm going to have to send it to you.
6 inches, but girthy, by the way.
So we got, that was only 30 minutes ago that I posted it, so I was late on that. That's all the questions we got.
Yeah, I forgot all about questions. I'll have to put a reminder. I'll make myself a note for next week.
Alright, so I guess we can close this bitch on out.
Yeah, too bad Alex fell asleep.
Yeah, I mean, like I was about to say, we should do plugs, but he's the only one with really anything to plug right now, and
And Alex
Yeah,
is gone,
so-
and Chris Cowart just said, how come Alex is the Wario version of Ramin?
Wait, what?
That's good. Oh, he's back.
Are you back?
No, I'm here. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm dozing in and out, but I'm hearing the general gist of things.
Well, this is a top tier podcast, I'll tell you what.
Well, he was taking a shit, but he just didn't record the flush this time.
Hey, while you were in there, did you notice how big your dick was?
Did I notice how big my dick was?
Oh man, it must be small if he didn't even notice.
No, I mean, I didn't really notice. It's like the average
This is a
size
question from the
like,
group.
every time.
How big is everyone's dick? Vincent asked.
Yeah, I'm not responding to that. I'm not responding to that thread. Oh, Chris Howard mentioned in the comment. Oh no.
Said, why are you the Wario of Ramin?
What? Do I have to read?
So-
I don't even know what bullshit be going on in that group.
That was definitely a winning podcast. One of our guests didn't even show up. The second one fell asleep on us.
Well, I didn't fall asleep till later, but yeah.
Everything in this whole every terrible thing that happened in this podcast was worth it just to hear Blake's science comments.
Yeah, it seems like every episode so far, like there's one moment right at the end that ends up being like the funniest fucking thing of the whole show, and nobody knows it's coming.
Oh man, y'all just don't get satire.
Wait.
That's all it is.
Wait. What I'm taking away is that Coward's calling me fat.
I think he's saying you're a joke version of Ramin. That's what I
You're
thought.
the
Evil version of Ramin, I think, is what it would be.
Evil, yeah.
Evil
I don't know. I was
opposite,
thinking
yeah.
Wario's kind of a joke, but yeah, evil works.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, Mario's kind of a joke.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
That's fair.
Did you see his nipples on the beach picture?
Yeah. I didn't need to ever see Mario's nipples.
I figure I need to talk about some dude's nipples on each episode, and then that will fulfill my quota. Alex, do you think I gave you a faithful representation of your nipples as I described them on the last episode.
Wait, you described my nipples?
You did. Oh,
He didn't even listen to last episode.
I'm not going to listen to nightly news
I
anymore.
think I listened to like the first 30 minutes of it or something, and I got busy. But
You son of a bitch.
Then you fell asleep.
probably.
I said you had puffy nips.
Puffy nips?
Puffy nips.
Hey, that's not so bad. What he said about Jalen's was that it was like a Hershey's Kiss that melts on the seat and then refreezes.
I feel like my nips aren't very big, but I'm not sure.
All right, my dudes,
Oh.
we're gonna call it.
Alex, do you want to plug your show?
Oh, should I plug my show?
Yeah, you should.
Go for it if you want to.
Okay. You can follow me on Twitter at Alex Insdorf if you want to see some garbage content. And then you can subscribe to my podcast, the AI podcast, on pretty much all iTunes, podcast services, everywhere, YouTube. You can get that. And as always, in the Facebook group every day, there's a new TLC nightly news report. I feel like seems like people are asking for the TLC nightly news report, but I keep uploading them, so I don't know what they're talking about. But I do them every day, so if you want to check.
Did you do one today?
Yeah, I did one today. I
I didn't see it. It didn't pop up on mine.
Well, he did it at like 10 o'clock in the morning, so nobody saw it.
Oh, that might be it. But I don't know. The whole Easter time.
It's called the nightly news. The nightly news.
I uploaded it at like 4:00 p.m.
If you are a listener and you happen to have wandered in on us randomly, I'm sorry first of all, but if you've made it this far and you want to get involved in our chaotic, ridiculous group, you can find us on Facebook by looking up the Lost Context podcast and find our page. Our page is linked to our group. We have a page, we have a group. And the group is kind of closed. Every once in a while it becomes secret because the names can be a little sketchy and we don't want to broadcast it to the public. But you can always find us through the Lost Context podcast. You could always hit me up and I'll send you an invite to our group if you want to get involved. And who knows, if you are involved enough, maybe one day you could end up on this podcast with us right now.
Well, not right now. It would be a future episode.
No, right now.
I said right now. I meant right now.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining us.
We want all of our listeners to feel like they're included right here with us right now. Like Warren, for example.
Warren just posted a gif of the black dude where the question marks pop up over his head.
Oh yeah, that's Nick Young.
Oh man.
It's been nice having you, Warren.
See you later, Warren.
It's always great to have Alex. Too bad Tony couldn't come. Tony, you're kind of a bastard.
Yeah, I hate you.
What could we expect from a black drug dealer?
God damn it. Alright, y'all, I'm out of here.
Your words, not mine.
Alright, y'all, peace.
See you later, guys.